I like my API tutor because she's nice.
Yeah, I enjoy them because when teacher's busy working on all teaching all the class and like you don't get too much attention, you can like turn around and ask them and they're focusing on you. They don't focus on nobody else.
They're fun and they're really fun.
I like my classroom coach because she's nice and she's not mean.
They're fun. They're like not that boring, and they like to play with us, like laugh, and sometimes do a lot of work.
I share things with her and she shares things with me.
I know they come in our class on Tuesdays, so they're just like, Miss Joseph, it's a Tuesday. I'm like, yes. So they're like, API's coming today.
What we like a little bit is like you get to like practice a little bit of reading.
If you know the history of Webb, you know that at one point we were a campus that was going to be shut down because of our performance on the state assessments. And over the past 4 years, we've not only turned the school around, but the math department has become a recognized department. And part of that puzzle of putting that picture together has been API.
Before I started API, I didn't know how to spell things.
I have the division and multiplication like mixed up in my head, so that like the formulas and stuff like that, and they like helped it easily like clarify things.
I was very nervous and scared because I couldn't read a lot, and he helped me read.
I just have really seen that their fluency has increased and that their just excitement about reading has grown.
After having API, I feel good and comfortable.
They often tell me I feel so stupid, I feel so dumb, and as they see their progress, they don't feel that way about themselves anymore.
It was like hard because like we didn't understand it. Well, I didn't understand it, but then like when they started showing me what was integers mean and everything, I started learning more and I started paying attention.
They help her read more fluently and faster. Now after starting API, I felt like I could read more better than I used to.
Their confidence has went way up. From the beginning of the year, I've had students who didn't even want to read out loud in front of a class or even read to me just on a one-on-one setting. And towards the end of the year now, these kids are the first ones to raise their hand in class.
I like when they came because they actually helped us on math and some of the stuff we didn't know.
I was going through hard times with math, but when they came, I did much better.
She showed us a lot of tricks with math and like a lot of tricks that we didn't even know. When I came here, I had improved. I got better.
These were students that we've selected that have never passed a math administration before, not since they've been taking it in the 3rd grade. And for many of these students, the defeat is almost physical. You know, you can see it. They walk into the classroom and their shoulders are slumped, and you know they're like, in another math class. And so, much to the credit of the teachers and to the volunteers, the students in that class have really turned it around. And a few of those students have not only made growth compared to their peers in the classroom, but have surpassed the other students in their grade level. Sorry, it was too emotional when I talk about this, and to see that growth and that progress in students that had lost hope. You know, there's nothing replacing that. You think about the people that come in and volunteer their time and could have been doing something else, and the people from API who just do this day in and day out and put all of the pieces together so that this experience can happen. I strongly believe that the outcomes are going to be exponential. You know, like This year, those few students are going to be on grade level, but from here on out, it's going to change their whole lives. So, what was the question?
When I work with my API tutor, I feel smart. I feel excited because I'll learn some new words and what they mean.
I feel motivated and excited learning more things with them.
My classroom coach has made me feel really happy and I have learned a lot from him. I would recommend it to other kids because you learn how to read better.
I would want my friends to participate because they need help in math too.
I just want to thank API for coming out. You guys make a huge difference in our students' lives.
Thank you, Ron Potts, and the volunteers for helping. Thank you for helping our classroom and learning about reading.
It's priceless. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'll get emotional and teary if I talk about it too much.
Thank you, volunteers. We love y'all.
Le quiero decir que gracias porque nos enseñó a leer y se tomó su tiempo con nosotros leyendo.
Thank you for helping us out very much and helping me become a college-ready student.
Thank you for making that sacrifice and having an impact on our students.
It makes a huge difference on the kids' lives. The relationships that you guys create with them and the content that you guys do, it really makes a huge difference to them. So thank you for all your work.
Thank you, volunteers. Thank you, volunteers, for helping us and all the wonderful things y'all did.
API is the best thing that ever happened.
What a tribute, huh? I want to thank the students and the campus staff who agreed to be taped, especially from Webb Middle School, teaching assistants Catherine Sonnenberg and Rihanna Joseph, and math instructional specialist Monica De La Garza, and from Blanton Elementary School, second grade teacher Erin Matola. And how about Ron Potts? Most of us as volunteers in the classroom, we think it's a huge victory at the end of the year if our students remember our name. You mostly were Miss or Mr., you know, so it was pretty amazing that that young man remembered his volunteer. It turns out that we're really lucky to have Ron Potts on our volunteer team. He's a retired Austin Police Department lieutenant, a member of the Austin Police Retired Officers Association and the Shoreline Christian Center. He's involved with the Child Protective Center and disabled veterans, and he's on a barbecue team. So thank you, Ron, for all you do for the community. So good evening, Austin School volunteers, PTA members, parent ambassadors, API coaches, step-up tutors, mentors, community organizations, business partners, event sponsors, school administrators and teachers, and friends. We at API, along with the Austin Independent School District, the Greater Austin Area Chamber of Commerce, and our signature sponsor, the City of Austin, are pleased to host this evening dedicated to celebrating volunteers and community partners in our school. To get us started this evening, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our Superintendent of Austin ISD, Dr. Maria Kostarfin.
Well, good evening. Welcome. God, it's almost the end of the school year. I know there are people out there who've been volunteering all school year long. So good evening and welcome. Great. It's good to see you all. Thank you for coming out tonight. I am so delighted to be here in front of my very favorite people in all of Austin, those people who make the personal choice to volunteer their time, their energy, their resources in AISD schools. So if you wouldn't mind doing me a tiny favor, it's going to make you feel a little awkward. And just remember, I was a former teacher, so I've got, who's a teacher? Can you raise your hand if you're a teacher? I know you're the teacher of the year, so raise your hand. Oh boy, there's not a lot of you. You're outnumbered. So we're going to do something that's probably going to be a little different. But can you find yourself a little partner sitting next to you? Turn and look at your little, try and find a partner. You can do it. Go this way. Look at each other. Somebody needs to choose to be A and somebody needs to be B. So could the A person look deeply into the eyes of the B person and say, thank you for being a volunteer in AISD schools. And then the B person look deeply into the eyes of the A person and say, I love you too. And thank you for volunteering in AISD schools. All right, so welcome again. We in AISD really appreciate all that you've done for our students and our staff, because having you in our schools and in our classrooms not only makes our kids stronger, but certainly makes our schools and our instructional practice stronger. We know that many of you serve as volunteers in so many other aspects of your life. I just wanted to pause for a moment and just acknowledge one of the lead volunteers in my life who also serves, if you didn't know this, our school board volunteers and serves for free to lead the drama of AISD. But Mark Williams, our board president, would you stand up so people can see you, is also here tonight with us. So thank you, Mark. But many of you do volunteer work yourself. You're on boards, you're on committees. I see some people that have served on our bond task force, who've served on our school district, tax ratification, conversations. I see people who have served on volunteering to just learn more about AISD, and many of you serve on committees with me. So we know that there's a lot of things happening outside of the classroom that are in addition to the day-to-day work with our kids. So we're really appreciative of that. And no matter how small or big your contribution is, we want you to know that we really appreciate what that is. And from a personal perspective, every year that I've been the superintendent at AISD, I try to find some way to volunteer in the district. So one year I was able to be an API tutor. This year I'm serving as a mentor through the Seedling Foundation that supports students who have at least one parent who's incarcerated. And so I was a former middle school teacher, and did a lot of work at the middle school level, and I get to be in middle school today serving as that mentor. And I don't know about the rest of you, while I've spent a lot of time with my mentee each week, and she's a very wonderful young woman, I sometimes am not sure if I'm making a difference in her life, right? I mean, there's just some moments where I thought, didn't we just do that last week? And, I thought I made a difference on that, but maybe I didn't really scratch that itch all the way. But if there's one thing I walk away every week with that perhaps you can say for yourself too, while I may not know what I have done to change her life, I can say for certain she has changed mine. She reminds me every single day what it means to be a young person in society today with all the pressures that I didn't have when I was growing up. And in a world where everything's changing so fast, everything from technology to just exposure, the internet alone is just a very creepy place when you're young. The concept of cyberbullying, just wasn't on my radar in my youth, and it certainly wasn't for many of you who are volunteering today. And they just go through so much more in different ways than we ever would have anticipated they would be experiencing as young people. And so I'm reminded that growing up in today's society is different to what it was for me. And in order for me to help her, I've got to ask for as much change in myself as I'm asking her in taking more responsibility and being a responsible young adult in our school system. And I feel blessed for that. I'm not sure many people are touched in those ways without taking the time and the opportunity to really, be with the young people in our school system today. You heard the kids on the video describing you as fun and sharing and caring and not so boring and all other things that are important to them that may seem very little to us, but are actually quite large in their lives. And my takeaway from my experience as a mentor and what I anticipate may be something that you take away from yours is that they are simply looking for more caring adults in their lives, people in their lives that can help them be the better young adults that I think they want to be, but sometimes the path just isn't as clear to them. And for those who have it all figured out, socially, and most middle school students would tell you they've got all that handled, academically, they also have challenges too. So if you're not mentoring, but you are actually tutoring and doing a lot of other things in between, it is making a difference in their lives. And whether, everybody can appreciate it from this moment forward, or maybe you knew it coming in, but having someone who helps you become a better reader actually can have outcomes that do things like keep you from dropping out of school, helping you graduate on time, ensuring that you don't end up in our prison systems, avoiding the juvenile justice system altogether, and actually being the caring, loving adult that they described you as in the future. So when you're like me and you've had your week of volunteering done and you walk out and go, I'm not sure what impact I had today, and I surely hope that what I'm doing is really making a difference, please know that they do know it. And they may not share it and express it in the ways that we all hope that they will, but I want you to know that as the superintendent and on behalf of the school board and the administration, we recognize what you're doing, and we thank you for all that you've done to really change our kids' lives. Austin is a great community. Our volunteers are just one small example of how awesome Austin is. And contributing to the health and vitality of our schools, in my opinion, is what's indeed going to make Austin a stronger community. And having a strong community, in part, requires that you have a strong public school system. And I think that we are doing that in AISD every day, and we're doing it faster and better for your contributions. So thank you so very much. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to sharing with you all the excitement that we've heard about you and what this tonight is all about. So thank you for coming out, and I look forward to celebrating with you.
Thank you, Dr. Karstafen. Before we get underway with the awards, I want to welcome and introduce members of the Austin ISD Board of Trustees, if any of you are here, if you would please stand. The API Board of Directors, any of you here, please stand. It's through the vision and the leadership and commitment of these individuals that enables our community to become an integral part of an enriching educational experience for all of our Austin students. I also want to express our deep gratitude to our event sponsors. First, our signature sponsor, the City of Austin. Each year, the city has provided underwriting to support an event that comes up later this month called Salute, a tribute to teaching excellence. And this year, we've added this additional program to also recognize our volunteers in a special way. Beyond their generous financial commitment, the City of Austin has made a significant investment in supporting Austin students by providing 380 volunteers to 6 different community-based organizations. And I'm very proud of the fact that about half of those volunteers are involved in API programs. So, City of Austin, we thank you very much. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank our media sponsor, Univision, and the generous support we receive from Wells Fargo, from JP Morgan Chase, and the many others you see listed here and also on the back of your programs. These sponsors, year after year, provide the funding that makes this event and Salute possible, and we are really grateful for that support. Now, let's get on with the awards. Our first presenter is State Representative Donna Howard. Representative Howard has been a vocal advocate inside and outside the legislature for public education. She's a native of Austin, a graduate of Reagan High School and the University of Texas. We're honored to have her here this evening. Please welcome Representative Howard.
Well, they gave us a script, and I'm glad because it's really hard for me to even read this very first statement, which has to do with the budget challenges that the district's facing, because I know the state has a lot to do with that. So I'm going to stick to the script because otherwise we will be here all night as I go off on that tangent, but I apologize. As our school district continues to face budget challenges, the contributions that volunteers make are crucial to meeting the needs of our most vulnerable communities. This year, thousands of people from the Austin community volunteered their time to make a positive impact on education in our district. You'll find the names of these individuals and groups in your program, but I'd like to acknowledge them by asking the following groups to stand. The first group is the Austin Partners in Education classroom coaches and step-up tutors. Would you please stand? Thank you. Next, the API mentors. Would you please stand? Outstanding campus volunteers, please stand. And the outstanding volunteer groups, please stand. Thanks to each of you for your dedicated service to our students and our teachers. This year, Austin Partners in Education also honors 3 organizations that have made significant contributions of volunteer time and talent to API's classroom coaching and mentoring programs. The City of Austin, the Teacher Retirement System, and CWS Corporate Housing. Please stand and be recognized. Thank you. The Partners in Education Coordinator of the Year Award is presented each year to a school staff person who has taken on the responsibility for building a strong force of mentors, volunteers, and community partners for their campus. This year's award, given for outstanding leadership and innovation in enriching the school environment, goes to Rosie Arredondo from International High School. Please welcome Rosie to the stage. Thank you.
Congratulations, Rosie, and thank you, Representative Howard. Our next presenter has distinguished himself as a leader in the Austin community who advocates for educational excellence. He is president of Wells Fargo Community Bank and chair of the API board, Mark Curry.
Good afternoon. You know, I remember the last couple of weeks of each of my school years. They were pretty full of excitement, and I'm sure they had a hard time getting me to focus on much but swimming and baseball. I just got to say thank you. You know, I've never stood in front of a lot of our volunteers before, and I read a lot about what you do, and Pat and the staff keeps us updated. But I got to tell you, I'm a little overwhelmed, and I'll speak to that at the end. Our campuses benefit greatly each year from the grassroots support they receive from local businesses and community organizations. These campus partners fill needs large and small by donating services, money, and talent that enable our school communities to thrive. I'd like to ask all of the nominated campus partners to stand and be recognized. All of you? There we go. There's one. There's two. It's my great pleasure this evening to honor one partner who has demonstrated a superior level of excellence in his leadership, volunteerism, and financial investment in Austin students. Tonight we recognize IBM as the 2012 API Partner of the Year. IBM has been a leader in education quality and improvement through its 101-year history as a company. IBM products and solutions benefit many educational institutions, while IBM volunteers have committed countless hours of personal time and expertise to driving quality in educational systems. Locally, though, since 4 IBMers first got involved with classroom coaching in 2009, their volunteer commitment has grown to 92 employees, mostly engineers and computer scientists who make a weekly commitment to Austin students. These talented individuals are bringing math concepts to life for our middle school students. Miss Mary Robinson Kenter, one of our 6th grade math teachers at Burnett, said, "I was blown away by the IBM employees who worked with my students. Their desire to make a difference in the lives of my students was refreshing. Several employees became peer mentors and joined us for lunch outside of their scheduled coaching sessions. This is especially beneficial to our students, as we can never have enough positive adult role models in their lives. We are all extremely grateful to IBM for this opportunity and look forward to next year." You know, they actually recruit each other. They had such an impact with the students and the sense of accomplishment. They went back to work and they started talking about their experiences with each other, and it motivated more people to volunteer. It's very grassroots driven. But none of that happens without leadership and opportunity and availability of that time and energy. So IBM has supported API and the school district financially in the form of corporate grants, employee giving funds, and sponsorship events such as Celebrate and Salute. The IBM leadership team has created policies and practices that encourage employee involvement in their communities. And every week, these talented partners are demonstrating their education is everybody's business. Now, I get a chance to know several of them in other venues, and I can tell you that they're not only involved in these kinds of initiatives, but IBM is a very committed company to educational excellence. It drives their innovation, and it supplies them with a workforce and a set of talent to compete in this very competitive world. So they understand truly and fundamentally the impact education can have on their business and on their communities. I want you to welcome Tony Beffy, Vice President, Senior Location Executive for Austin IBM, and Vice Chairman of the Austin Chambers Education and Talent Development Council, to the stage to accept this award for IBM. Tony, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
So first of all, I want to say that I am very honored and a little bit humbled to be able to accept this award for the teams that really made this happen in IBM. You know, it's one of the things about being an IBMer. You can say so many things about IBM having been around as a company for 100 years, but the thing that makes me come to work in the morning is the people that we have in the IBM company and the people we have right here in Austin and Central Texas because of things like this. They're truly willing to reach out, try to make a difference, and it's really in the DNA of those folks. And you are so right, Mark. I mean, I've talked to lots of these folks. Hal Chase, I don't know if Hal's in here. If he is, Hal, thank you for your leadership. There he is back there. I mean, to see the enthusiasm in his face and the face of all the people that volunteer and that he gathers together to talk about what they've been able to do and the excitement to be able to help the kids is just outstanding. So Hal and the team, thank you. Thanks to everybody here who does great work in volunteering. As Dr. Kostarfin said, it makes an enormous difference. You have no idea how much difference it really makes to these kids, and you can go home feeling proud that you really did something special. So thank you very much.
At this time, I'd actually like to welcome back Dr. Kostarfin.
Well, hello again. It's good to see you. Oh, God. I'm like giddy, crazy. It's just the end of the school year. Can't be happier to celebrate right now. But my part in this presentation right now is to help celebrate more of the awards. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the people we call parent ambassadors. Parent ambassadors actually represent what we believe is the spirit and the goodwill of all parents, caregivers, grandparents, guardians who volunteer in our schools. They're the champions who work tirelessly. If you know some of the grandmothers, they are working as grandmothers and mothers and mentors and volunteers all at the same time, and some of them even throw in a little extra help by being parent support specialists. But they are the real champions who are often behind the scenes that help benefit not just their kids, but everybody else's kid, even if they aren't part of their genetic family. So they bring in everyone's child and really tries to give them the extra support. And one way that we do that through our parent ambassadors is to have them help express to us what they really think that work is about. And the way that they do that, if I could describe a mantra, is that schools cannot do it alone. And because they can't do it alone, they need a lot of people who, you know, work in that space as the caregiver that some of our kids just simply don't have. Now, we have a lot of parent ambassadors, and I know that you're out there, and this time I'm going to do like the teacher that's, you know, that's doing all that stuff around social and emotional learning. And when I ask you to stand, because I've noticed we've asked people to stand and like one or two persons stand up, would the parent ambassadors stand, and we're going to wait for you. We're going to take our slow time, let everybody stand up. Go ahead, stand up, stand. She popped up and sat down. Stand up, stand up. Great, these are the parent ambassadors. So we thank you for your dedication. Now, I've had the honor every year that I've been superintendent to work with our PTA association, which has got to be like the toughest group of parents who I've seen go and like scare the Jawillikers out of like the legislature and TEA, right? So they are the best parents we could ever ask for. They work to change legislation. They really helped us with STAR and the end of course stuff recently. I love them to pieces. This year, is Amber here? This is our PTA president for this year. She's outgoing. She's done it for 2 years. Amber, thank you so much. So while they have been the largest child advocacy organization in the state of Texas, if you can believe it, they have over 630,000 members. And today, as Amber announced, which I'm so thrilled, every single school for like the first time in the history of AISD has a functioning PTA. And so we are thrilled for that. And that's really because of her leadership, and she knows how to horsewhip a superintendent too. So good on you, PTA. But we love them, and we really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to next year as well. But tonight we celebrate those PTAs that have really distinguished themselves by expanding their parental and community involvement in the schools, supporting teachers and administrators, enriching the educational experience, and lighting a fire under the superintendent. So the 2012 PTA of the Year, and I've got to ask you to act like the kids for a second. Do you know how to do a drum roll with your feet? Okay, there we go. So here I go again. The 2012 PTA of the Year award goes to Baranof Elementary School. Are they here? There they are. Come on up. Congratulations to everyone in Baranof. Y'all are fabulous. Come on up. Yeah, good to see you again. Thanks. So y'all get together. This way. I'm getting behind you. You are. We won't be long. I want you halfway in front of me so I look thinner. Okay. That's what there we go. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Congratulations to Baranof and all the PTA finalists.
The API Hall of Fame Award is given each year to an individual or a partner who, through their leadership and service, are strengthening the educational foundations for all Austin students. Here to present the award is a 2011 Hall of Fame recipient and president of the AISD Board of Trustees, Mark Williams.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you all for being here. So, have you all had a chance to flip this little booklet? Is it not just awe-inspiring how many names are on here and how many schools are represented? Thank you all very much. I think as the volunteers said, you do make a difference. Thank you very much. And this is a special shout out to the Susan Lucci of PTAs, and our Anderson High School friends who I think have been nominated every year I've been involved. You know, always the bridesmaids. So congratulations to Baronoff and Anderson. We appreciate y'all being here every year for all the work. And part of what Amber and the Anderson people have done is really helped strengthen our PTAs across the district. So Julie in particular, thank you, but many others. So, but that's not why I'm up here, and sorry for rambling. The Hall of Fame Award is, in many ways, we have a corporate partner award, which IBM richly deserves, but we also try to recognize an individual who's done tremendous things for the Austin School District, the Partners in Education, and really for our community. And this year, it's been my pleasure to introduce Bob Rudishauser, who has joined us today along with his lovely wife, Dottie. So thank you all for both being here. And I'm going to have to read this because this guy's got, and what you'll see in the little bio, I'd say read along, but the words aren't exactly the way I'm going to do it, but you'll see just a snippet of all the things he's done. But he's had a 37-year career, which includes military service. So I want to pause right there and say thank you for that, and for anyone that's ever been in the military, because I don't think we often appreciate that portion of what our people do. But he went from there and did management consulting, executive leadership, and he brought his gifts of leadership and financial savvy to Austin and to bear in what's really a vital and educated workforce for Central Texas. And as we all know, that's what makes this economy go, is having a talented workforce. And to get those people ready for the workforce, they have to be well educated. And Bob has been an integral leader in establishing and building the ongoing success of Austin Partners in Education. But even beyond that, what's something called the Capital Area Training Foundation, integral part of that happening, is now known as Skill Point Alliance. He's also chaired the Youth Advisory Group, which is called Ready by 21, and I hope you all appreciate that concept of, you've got Success by 6, which he's also been involved in, but it's like we want to make sure our little babies are ready when they enter the school doors, where all of us deal with them, but we also want them to be ready by 21 when they leave, to be productive members of our community and our workforce, and he's been essential in that. He's been on the Capital Area Workforce Development Board. He's held leadership, so you can see he's got the continuum. He's held leadership positions with the ACC Foundation Board. He's been a very integral part of something called the Austin Project, and if y'all are not familiar with that, when you get home, Google that. They do tremendous work in our community, and the Texas MathWorks Advisory Board. And he was a founding partner 7 years ago of the Austin Partners in Education Board, and he served on the board with us, and with more than 20 years of countless devotion to our schools, our community, our kids. It's my distinct pleasure to honor him with our Hall of Fame Award. Bob Rudishauser, please come up.
Well, thank you, Mark, for those generous comments. It was a real privilege to play a small part in the founding and development of API as it's currently conceived. But the real heroes of this program are the volunteers that come in each week and meet with our students and teachers. When I talk to people in the community and tell them that over 2,000 citizens in this community come into AISD each week serving as mentors and classroom coaches, the typical response I get from them is, wow, that's impressive. And it is. And when they understand that these more than 2,000 volunteers are having a very positive impact on student success, it's even more impressive. So congratulations to all of you who are involved this evening. This is a great work. We wish you all continued success as we move forward. It's going to be very important to our community in the long run. Good work, well done.
Thank you, Bob, for your years of service to us. This has been an inspiring evening, and I know that we're all leaving here tonight confident that even with the smallest commitment, we can have a huge impact. I want to ask just one more time for everybody in the room who is a volunteer, a mentor, a community partner, who is a parent ambassador, a PTA member, everybody who is serving our students in Austin, please just stand up and let's give you a round of applause one more time. Before we close, I'd like to thank the many people from AISD, ACPTA, and the API team who have been working for months to pull this program together. From AISD, we couldn't have done this without an incredible team of folks: Isabel Garza, Holly Suburvi, Pat Dabbert, David Seaborn, Oscar Palomo, and the entire media production team, the folks who are here actually filming this, part of the AISD Channel 22. Thank you so much for your support. You helped us deliver. From ACPTA, Amber Ellens, who you just met a moment ago, and Monica Sanchez, thank you also for the support that you provided. This was a great collaboration this year. And my API team, I couldn't do this without them. The design team, Dawn Lewis, Kirsten Rashko, Ann Bickler, a couple of people who got conscripted, Chris Brody, Amy Moore, Chris Smith, the entire systems team, Debbie Pringle, Denise Gann, and the rest of the team who are here staffing the event this evening. Thank you. And now, to end the evening, I'd like to welcome back Mark Curry.
So brevity is important. But I want to share one or two thoughts with you before we take off. And this comes out of my work at Wells Fargo. We've been in around 160 years this past March. And we're a company that was based upon innovation and customer service. And you might be surprised, but in 1917, we were nationalized because at that time we had 3,000 stores that was actually delivering mail, yes, using the stagecoach and other things. We delivered the mail and packages all across the United States. And during World War I, the government decided to nationalize all freight movement. So at one swoop, those 3,000 stores and those 3,000 express agents all worked for the government the next morning, and it was left with one bank in downtown San Francisco with 200 employees. And from that same innovation and spirit of commitment to the community and back to the customer, here we came. I can only say that in my time here in Austin and all the work that I've been blessed to do around education, I've come to understand maybe one or two things. So I'll share these with you. I think education is the bridge between community development and economic development. It's the bridge between where I am, what I'm capable of doing, and where I want to go. And everybody in this room is a part of that journey, whether it's an hour a week, or it's a phone call, or it's a mentor, or it's a conversation you have with a friend or a neighbor about the importance of going to class, or learning a new subject, or being inspired by someone else. We can't build community without an educated team. And it is truly the most important team game. Look at your program. There are literally thousands of things listed here. Education is the ultimate team game. And it doesn't matter whether you have a small part or a big part. You move people to success. And sometimes they go willingly, and sometimes they don't go willingly, right? But it's so important to all of us, because when you build community around the school and education becomes a part of that community feel, then over time, that becomes their economic opportunity. Because we know that whether you're going to college or you're workforce ready, the Chamber of Commerce, the City of Austin, IBM, Wells Fargo, literally hundreds and hundreds of people are involved. Teachers, volunteers in this room, parents, PTAs. I mean, I mean, I was PTA president at Doss 1 year. My wife talked me into it. She served on the PTA board, Doss, Murchison, and Anderson, all those years. So we're very involved as a community, and it matters. So thank you for everything you do, whether you're here from a government perspective, a school district perspective, a commercial business perspective, or pure volunteer because you care about the future of your children and this community. I want to thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next year in our classrooms, making a difference in the lives of our children. Thank you very much.
Is a bloom, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rest.